Hi, this is Harper with CF Community First. I'm speaking truth to power and power to truth. And what I want to talk about now is how our former president, our present president, relates to the agenda of Black Americans and the agenda to ADOS people. It's very little and maybe even more. But I know a lot of people may not even like this, but it's just not for you to like. It's for you to learn and hear the analysis and point of view. And what I want to say is about the President Donald Trump. Many of you may know, a lot of people and a lot of us that are ADOS people during Trump campaigning did vote for the President Donald Trump. And I think the reason we did that, and a lot of people did that, is because we were sick and tired of the benign and neglect policy, how they use that as heavily speaking politicians, pretty much on both ends, but then again, not, because the Democrat Party has been criminals when it comes to concern of ADOS people or Black people in America. They have the narrative push that they are going to protect people, especially people who have been denied something or lower skilled or underclass or so have you speak, as a wide sector of community. They say, well, we're going to do this, and they're going to be leaning always a little bit to socialist and always a socialist. And what we come to realize is that that is a direct threat to us. And it had nothing to do with racism. A lot of people say, well, why y'all vote for that man? Or why y'all talking about he's racist and different things? Your imagination need to go above somebody being racist and how they was raised or whatever they did or who they are as people. Let's look at the real interior of this event. Look at the real interior of these dynamics. The president himself was not a politician. He's learning to be, he is a businessman. But we knew about studying community that voting for him, he was going to be transparent, and things may leak out because he's not a politician. So when he ran for president, he was campaigning on, removing illegal immigration and removing the birthright citizenship, and a lot of people we know nothing about just around here advancing off our laws and not really being honest about it, or in the country doing whatever they want to do, taking advantage of all the milk and honey and the resources that we have is mishandled. And that's the way we was looking at it. We don't know why he did what he did because we don't know what's inside of him, but it aligned, his campaigning aligned itself with our cause. Whether he knew it or not, whether it was subconscious or conscious, it doesn't matter. Sometime an old lady told me, and my mother told me, sometimes you have to agree with the enemy while you're on your way, whether he's an enemy or a friend. It's just the analysis and a little metaphor that if you see the president as your enemy, what about the things that you're going to need to agree? When you go to a business meeting, you got to be shrewd enough to understand that everybody's not your friend at that business meeting. Somebody's not going to want to give you the advantage or to shake your hand on a deal that's going to advance you, but you have to show them that you coming in hardballing, and they're going to have to give you at least 50 to 60, maybe 70% of what you're asking for, and y'all come to an agreement. This is what community is about. This is what law is about. When you go into court of law to fight, you have to do things like that. And we have to stop being always so personal. I think at this point, it's time for ADOS people to be personal as in terms of their affairs as community and as individuals, according to what has happened and according to the humanitarian crime and the law that had been broken due to us as a people. So that's a different thing. However, the government is there to protect you, especially here. So we have a government that's enriched by our labor and by all of these other advances that we have in our great nation. So the president campaigning himself concerning with other people coming in on our territory using our economic base and not coming here with the idea of respect and merit and different things like that. And Black folks that were conscious were saying, wait a minute, we do have a lot of people coming here that's disrespectful toward us, building enclaves around us and building empire, and they're illegally doing it. And we do have a problem with them being very disingenuous with us doing business in the community and things like that. So we considered that. We considered that, so we put him in office, a lot of us. And we didn't want nobody coming to offend us saying they got hot sauce in their bag, like Hillary Clinton did. She got hot sauce in her bag, and all that kind of stuff, saying she liked Cardi B or whatever. To people that are conscious, that has been waking up and looking at these things, that is offensive. That you are concerning yourself with the idea of emulating what we may like or what we may do to get our vote, and then you're not concerned with our affairs and what our for us to take care of ourselves. We're not concerned with the welfare of our community or our individual status. So it was better to have him, even though he didn't talk about necessarily reparations. Now he did give money, and there was $100 billion to the urban community. But yet and still, however, we understand that money that you gave, that they're trying to call black alliances, I mean, black and brown alliances, does not support the idea of the reparations that slave descendants need, because are have waiting on them as a protected class, because these people are invited to those reparations also. So that's the noble side of what the president did. And a lot of them come in there and they be noble, and they merge the idea of our cause with other groups. And that's just not good, because other people have what they have and we're not merged in that group. But you merge everybody with the idea of who we are, because we were thought of less than a group that's less than. Everybody get enriched off of being a minority or a black American that's not American descendant of slavery, and then benefiting from affirmative action and different things like that. We need some solely to protect us and what's due and what's rightfully due to us, which is reparations and our constitutional rights. We never got the value of a 40 acre and a mule. So these are the things that we are rightfully deserved, but because we never really pushed it, or we got pushed back when we did, it looked upon as though we wasn't worth it. So people are feeling some type of way about us making these claims, about us stating our claims within our jurisdiction. And that's just not intelligent. That's not even intelligent doing business. I mean, it's really not. It's transparent. So a lot of people don't realize, as smart as you may be or may educated you may be, you are transparently ignorant to respond that way in an intellect or in a professional exchange with your intellect and your expertise, because you haven't rise up to the occasion. So your thinking is miniature, and you are incompetent as far as government. You're not protecting the people. You're not the real people. Now, we don't want you to start giving people everything that you have been doing, which we kind of roll with that. But then we looked at it and said, wait a minute, these laws have been taken advantage of. People coming here, and they coming here in the 50 something million, and they doing a lot of stuff, and they all up on top of us and all of this kind of stuff, and they're taking what was owed to us, what we never got. So a lot of folks now worry, and some of them, most of them are immigrants. It's not our fellow white constituents. They're usually quiet right now, because they're kind of saying, a lot of white people are saying, well, I guess this is right. Then you got some of them doing the benign and neglect, which is the politicians and stuff like that. Elizabeth Warren, have you? I don't think she's an Indian. Bernie Sanders, he really seemed to be a good guy, but then when he got on stage not too long ago, he started trying to double talk us about what concerns us with other groups. That's not even ethical. That's just not business. That's not the way that goes. Actually, it's pretty offensive. However, we get over the offensive part because we know that's not business. We're not gonna worry about being offended. We'll tell you that's offensive, but we're gonna move on to the next thing so we can transpire. Okay, so this is what this is, and as the president as the president as it relates to ADOS concerns, these are some of the things that had happened. And instead of us going to a person that's going to smile and say, well, this is what we're going to do, we would rather see transparency. We would rather have open, even if he is a white supremacist or what have you, we would rather have an open white supremacist. And a lot of people who know the science of that are white people who in power, do not want him in there, simply because they feel like that he's messing up their money, where they are paying illegals and immigration lower wages than they would American citizens. And he had been demanding birthright citizenship to be revoked, and he had been demanding mandatory EVerify for these people who are actually breaking the law, that are immigrants. they have businesses and they hire people who are their constituents that are illegal in our country and overstay their visas and different things like that. And mandatory verify, what that would do is not allow them to do that. When I live in the state of Georgia, Nathan Deal was the governor before Stacey Abrams ran and Brian Kemp. And Brian Kemp is now our governor in Stan. Before Brian Kemp, it was Nathan Deal. So Nathan Deal fought against illegal immigration, and they were being deported from Georgia. And he put mandatory verify on the table. However, the Supreme Court fought against him to the Georgia Supreme Court fought against him to keep illegal immigration and to build sanctuary cities, and they didn't want mandatory verify simply because of big business and because of high heavenly politicians that are on our state legislature that are in direct contact with white business owners who paid them less wages, and they wanted to keep the area populated as far as revenue and those people residing here. So that's why they have sanctuary laws put in place for them as a protected class. They have sanctuary laws put in place for them as a protected class, even in search to the point where they can't, some of them you can't even keep in jail, even when they do something very serious. So this is our concerns. These are concerns that a lot of us hadn't even talked about, ADOS people. So these are also concerns. And immigration is not just the Latin people that are predominantly poor and that's doing rooftops and construction work. Really, they're not poor anymore. And part of the problem is they tried to move out to the bedrock where the owners were, where the owners of the companies were the white businessmen, because they save their money and they stick together. And I'm not bragging on them, like, oh, all of these black folks, oh, they stick together. We should, all that. I don't want to live in 21 to 30 people in a house. They have to, because they don't know nothing else. So this is what they done, and then they got their money saved. They start owning companies. They tried to move out of them white people. And the president was like, now the white people was like, wait a minute. And they start taking over. And they're having children on the 14th Amendment. And the children are being presumptuous and coming up thinking that they did this. They did this. This is their home. And that's not the case. So they were allowed to do that from big business. A lot of people coming here from big business. Well, the white men owning companies, and maybe some black, that was paying them lower wages, the farmers and things of that nature. The onion farms and all of that. So that's why we aligned ourselves with the president, because he brought that open discussion up. He opened it up. He was transparent about it. So that laid everything on the table for us to be concerned about our citizenship, who we are as a group here. See what I'm saying? So the transparency of the individual that's in leadership opened up the door for everyone else to state their cause and claims as a rightful demand. Now, not nothing outrageous, but people are coming in outrageousness. And they didn't realize that we are the ones who are deserving of this. Everybody else got stuff they don't even deserve, some of them, and they may, but they did get stuff. So why are you protesting to have reparations for black and brown? Who's brown? And why do they need reparations? What happened to them? Why do they need reparations? So it opened up the dialogue. It opened up the precedence of what we can do. It opened it up. So now we can lay an agenda due to the fact that those avenues are open for you to come to the round table of discussion. And so that we can assert this in a very professional and intellectual, intelligent manner. And this is what's going on. And we're not taking it crap about all these other groups and just pitching our pennies for people. That's not fair, and it's dangerous, also dangerous. Because a lot of these people over here you don't know nothing about. They come from dictatorship, and then they get presumptuous inside your jurisdiction. And they're not, and our laws are weak, so that it haven't been asserted enough, and they haven't been fined down enough. So people were breaking the law. So that's what, in terms of the president, that's how it relates to him. And a lot of ADOS members and other people feel like, the president racist, but they don't even want to talk about that. It's not important. What's important is that we get a understanding of what's really happening. And that's what we have gotten, and that's what we are getting. And that's how it relates to the president. And then a lot of immigrants that are black are saying, oh, we kiss to the white man and all that. It don't matter who you vote for over here. We got a certain agenda outside of votes, but we will pull back our vote and our dollar from the businesses. if you don't give us what we're supposed to have. And you immigrants, don't be too careful because y'all are in trouble. We will pull back our dollar from those businesses. We really will, because we're snowballing and we are coming up inauguration, and we are the people, and we will pull back, and we have more leverage here than you. You just got more perks because you were able to come in and manipulate our system, but we have more leverage. This is our system. Our people built this country, and we are in constituent with our fellow white Americans because we smart enough to know that this is right. We have to be. We're not coming over here finna burn down stuff and riot and tear up stuff. That's not what we're doing. See, we're doing business, which y'all thought we couldn't do, and that's what's angering you. That's what's angering you immigrants that are talking. You didn't understand the intellectual presence and the professionalism of Black Americans, American descendant of slavery. You didn't understand that we possess that because you were presumptuous. And so when you respond, you think we're going to respond in violence and just act crazy and go off like you did in y'all third world countries. And y'all went out there fighting and stuff. We had riots here too, many of them. But not as though we y'all, these countries are in war at all times, pissing in the river. And so this is not what we're doing. We're sophisticated, and we have a tremendous amount of prestige and integrity with these ideas and this agenda and this ideology. So you can kill the messenger, but you can't kill the idea. So this is what we're doing. We're doing business with our fellow white Americans, because this is what this is deserving. It's not about hate or talking about hating somebody or nothing like that. It's about, let's rectify the cause. Now, when it comes down to certain situations where there's hate involved or racism involved, we'll deal with that in that segment. But right now, this is business. You can't mix all of that together. It'll be tacky and foolish and nothing will get solved. So this is where y'all come from. And y'all been coming over here, a lot of the immigrants. What's interesting to me, they've been coming over here doing business with the white man to live in his bedrock or there or whatever have you, and work with him. But then when we come to the table as Black Americans, they tell us we coning. What is that? You're over here doing business with the people that we have been involved with for hundreds of years. We don't know nothing about no third world country, really, to be honest with you. So y'all know what's at stake. Y'all know a little bit more about third world country than us, but we can look it up, and we do know something about it because we visit the islands. We know how our dollar is of value. We know how we had a demise in our country and denial. We know about the benign neglect of what they do as politicians, and that's what we're saying. That's over. That's over in this instant. That is over. That is why the proposal is put on the table. And for you immigrants who don't understand that your mindless chatter will not precede us and our talking points or precede us as our business agenda and political agenda, then you can slow it down, take a drink of water, chill out, take a walk, and breathe. Because it's not going to happen. Breathe. It's not going to happen. And I just had to speak on truth to power about that because it's not about worshiping anybody, but that's how the president relates to these ideas. Nobody's perfect. We're not looking for nobody to be the great savior, and we're not looking for nobody to give us anything. A handout is give us what we owed, and so that we can go forth and do what we need to do. You can't build a house without the tools. I mean, it's certain things you just have to have, you know what I mean? So, I mean, if you work every day and you get money coming, you get food, you go home, you eat it, or you put gas in your car, that's what reparations is. We work for that. Y'all don't understand that. That's not your business. You don't have any dogs in this race. Now, you can stand with us or you can be respectful to the idea of it, but stop all of that being feared and scared because you guys come from tribalism. And y'all come from third world elements where y'all had to struggle. And then that y'all hear y'all scared somebody gonna remove y'all or take y'all away. Some of y'all be quiet because some of y'all are abiding in our country illegally. And those who came here illegally got citizenship, thanks to the grace of God, because you didn't come here right and you overstayed your visas. So this is what y'all thinking. Y'all thinking we're attacking y'all and getting on the president side and then we are all prejudiced and all that kind of stuff. No, this is our home. And if you don't think it out and be careful, then you don't know what you're opening yourself up to, because the odds are against you. We don't have nothing to lose. We already done gave y'all everything. We already like Tariq Nasheed said, we already done gave y'all the bag. Now flip it. We already done gave y'all everything. We don't have nothing to lose. See, that's what you don't understand. So anyway,